outdoor project is for artists a very tough experience. You really can miss the point. It's impossible to compete with nature. It's impossible to compete with the huge, absolute domination of simplicity of nature. I've been working for many years now, and I'm still on a concept that I've actually named using different names, different terminologies, but to summarize actually this complex concept, I generally use the word repair. Repair in traditional societies follow the opposite path that the modern society is using, which means the modern societies, by going back to the original state, which is a total myth, we can't go back to the original state, it's a mythology, is actually believing, creating the illusion that progress is the removing of the injury. In traditional societies, the repair became the contrary. It became the expression of the injury. And these have helped me to reach the point that repair and injury, it is the same things. There's no repair without any injuries. This Cuba fabric was actually the beginning of the project in Documenta. It's bizarre to imagine that the broken faces started with this fabric. Behind each piece of Vichy fabric, there is a hole made by insect or whatever. It is not a decoration. Each piece of Western fabric repairs a hole which is behind. And so far, this object has opened for me a question. How the notion of repair works on the Western world and on what is it not the Western world. When I was working, as I told you before, on the repair, it became very obvious that I needed to find a comparison to echo, to mirror all my research on the traditional repair in non-Western societies in the Western modern world. And one of these most interesting examples I found was radical, but I like this radicality. When I did research on these injured soldiers, that immediately came to my mind after I have observed African masks broken and repaired, stitched. I found about the broken faces. When I discovered these archives images, at the beginning I was much more into example in which the mouth was transformed. Some other, like this one, looks almost okay. It just has a small eye. And then tougher images like this one where the mouth has been stitched almost. And I would say, to finish with this one, which has the whole face destroyed. In this radical, violent expression of these faces, so many socio-political issues raised from this, but also intellectual one. So the whole project that you can see here is one face of the whole corpus of research I have done onto the repair. But how, and this is also the first time I did it here at the Middelheim, how to extract from all these intellectual researches emotion, form, expression, autocritique. It lives now by itself. indeed, I have started from 2D images, but I've been lucky enough to find images of these wounded soldiers from the face and to the profile. I have all the time the face and the profile. So I have 3D images. So basically it starts with, as you can see, a big piece of tree. The wood is teak, T-E-K. And it's just like, we almost have a tree here. And then you start to use, this specific tool that you find in Africa, basically, for sculpture. I think I have it here in picture. It's good to show you. It's a stick of wood, and then you have a knife here. It's impossible to be precise. Each time you hit the wood, of course you become good after years and years, but you never can really walk on sharply, making very thin detail. And I also wanted to use this wood within the context of the Middelheim exhibition because I didn't want to, how to explain, I tried to stay as close as I could to nature in the sense that the wood is not treated, is not varnished, is not protected with anything. It's just the wood itself, teak. Many people ask me, what do you think about the pavilion, whatever. I have decided to dialogue with this architecture. And for me, this pavilion is a military architecture. It reminds me the tank of the war. It's in steel, it's green military, the angles are very sharp. It can be a tank. So here we have the link with my project. The first thing is that if you sit a little bit, you're gonna have a look on the lines. These lines is a metaphor of military cemeteries of the World War. These huge, endless cemeteries filled with hundreds of thousands of graves everywhere. So what these cemeteries tell us? They show us how unhuman is the relation we have with death, and especially with the so-called death of war. You don't have any idea of who is. They all look the same. This is exactly the sadness of what I call modernity as well. Just have to imagine that again, this is a proposal that have been thought within a very specific context. The Middelheim Museum, an art collection that you have to appreciate outside. No more white cube and coffee latte. I wanted to create something that reacts with this context, that reacts with nature. Here we are very close again to nature. Because while I'm talking to you now, I can listen some of the cymbals ringing because of the wind. The wind, without any remote control, is activating these artworks. What is the wind if not nature? These birds, this crow which just landed just now. Now there is a second one coming here. It's beautiful. I really love birds, and especially crows. I mean, these are nature. Nature is not the park, it's not the landscape. This is artificial. Nature is the light of the sun on the trees, the leaves rusting, the birds landing or flying, the wind blowing and ringing the cymbals. The cymbals is culture. That's why probably I really appreciate also to be here, is that everyone can appreciate not only art here, but time.